Hello, folks. It is Tuesday, so that means ETV Coaching Show. Mark T. Robinson here with head men's basketball coach Brandon Curran. After you guys have just come back from what I call the edge of Texas, Alpine, that is, playing in the ASC tournament. Guys were there 2 years ago, as we highlighted in the last show, and it's just funny how it ended up being an identical situation, as in same record, finishing the season and things of that nature. Did you kind of notice that just looking back at everything that's happened this year?
Yeah, I mean, of course you think about it, but just overall really proud of this team and of these guys. And you look back at the last 4 years, 2 20-win seasons, 2 appearances in the ASC Conference Championship game, multiple times being regionally ranked, getting votes for top 25 on a couple different years. So it's been really fun and a really good run. And this year was different than 2 years ago. Even though the record was the same, even though we came up short by 3 points in the championship game, it was a different feel. It was a different team. The camaraderie of these guys, just like 2 years ago, was just really special. And every team is different, and everybody's story is different. And although the result might have been the same, the way these guys came together and just led each other and sacrificed for each other and fought for each other and really engaged was just really, really special, and something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Absolutely,
and that's one of the things that I noticed right away, just how locked in the guys were, especially for this tournament, and specifically as you said, against playing UT Dallas in that semifinals game. Probably the best defense I've ever seen your team execute. And just kind of talk about, your team's mindset just heading into those types of games, and you say it was different from, 2 years ago to now. What really stood out to you?
We've got just guys that have more experience, and we had more guys that stepped in and played the role that Poncho played for us and Jordan Gosey from 2 years ago. Now you've got, seniors, Robbie Dooley, you've got Jordan Gray, you've got Landon Brown, you've got Jacob Owens-Bush, you've got Nolan Johnson, and then Weston Riddick was part of that team, has grown up. Nathan Fontenot has grown up. And so those guys are able to step in and give suggestions and talk through things. And we have a really special group of guys that have been here, but then also the guys that have come in that are willing to listen and are not afraid to contribute. They're not afraid to speak up. They're not afraid to say what they see. It was kind of neat as the games played out. If you watch the live broadcast or the broadcast, the mic for the announcer was right next to our bench. So you can hear everything I'm saying, but you can also hear everything that the players on the court are saying. You can hear what the guys that are checking into the game are saying, and they're coaching each other, they're supporting each other, they're encouraging each other. I thought that was a really special thing. And just going into the week, we talked about the Concordia game, and I joked before the game, let's thrive and advance. You always hear in March, survive and advance. Well, let's thrive and advance. Yeah. And we survived. And actually, in the locker room, we raced, thrive, and just wrote survive.
Yes.
But then coming out the next day, playing UT Dallas, you could just see in shoot around just the focus and the intensity. And UT Dallas is a great team, and I thought the guys brought it. I thought they executed the game plan to perfection. So proud of them. I just thought they did a tremendous job, and then came back the next day, locked in for Laterno, and I thought executed the game plan really well against Laterno too. And I thought we did a really good job on both sides of the ball. I thought it was a great game. I watched both of those games yesterday again, and felt like Laterno made a lot of plays, and I felt like every time they made a play, we made a play. They made a play, we made a play, and it went back and forth, and unfortunately they made the last one. And we made the last one too. It just didn't turn out the way we thought it would. So it was a lot of fun, and I couldn't be more proud of these guys. And I wish we were still playing, but that's just part of it. You don't always get what you want, but it's just a really special group of young men, and I love them dearly, and I'm so proud of them.
Absolutely, and you kind of talked about just the growth and the maturity of your team. Of all the guys, obviously, you have your seniors that you've been with for 4 years, and you have the guys that have come in along the way and really help contribute to the growth and the identity of your team. So just kind of talk about, of all the players, who has made kind of the biggest stride to where they are today to kind of help this team out? If you can, of course. I know it's kind of
I can't. I really can't. And I can't try to do that because you look at every single guy, whether they've been here for 1 year or 4 years, the Lord has done something in them. And so you see growth in every player. And we had a moment just after the game, after the disappointing loss in the championship game, where guys just spoke up and they talked about what they learned this year and what the Lord has shown them, or even just ways that they've grown. And to hear all the way from freshmen to seniors express humility and self-awareness and appreciation was just a really special moment, and again, something that I'll never forget. And it's just a really, really special group of guys, and I've been blessed to coach them.
And one of the things also that I just kind of am constantly drawn to about the team is just that obviously taking the loss in the championship was tough, but your guys, I thought, did a fantastic job of being composed and just continuing to look forward. And that can be hard for an athlete to do, especially in a game with that much emotion and that much at stake. Were you impressed about how your team handled the situation?
Yeah, so we've been talking all year about two things. Number one is let's surrender the ring. So we're just going to give our very best effort. We're going to try to love each other. We're going to be focused. We're going to be locked in. And whatever the Lord wants to happen, we trust him. He is good. He loves us. And so whether there's a blessing, we're thankful. If there's disappointment, we know it makes us stronger. We get through it. And so we've wanted to surrender the ring. And then the other thing, we talked earlier in the year about when Peter meets Jesus for the first time, the Lord gives him an incredible catch of fish, and that was Peter's livelihood. That was a huge deal to him. That's like prosperity and wealth, and wow. And Peter immediately walks away from it to follow Jesus, and he says, it's just fish. And we've been saying that all year, that these games, they mean a lot to us. We work really, really hard at it. And the guys, you could see it. They worked their tails off. They were focused. We came together so well. We truly were playing our best at the end of the year, and think we could still be playing and could go a couple rounds deep in the NCAA tournament. I have no doubt about that with this team. But I think they also realize it's just fish. And we're not playing just for the scoreboard. There are relationships in that locker room that are going to last a lifetime, and there are memories. And although, we know that we came up, just short, it's just about a lot more than basketball. And we're sad that it's over, but super excited to see what these seniors will go on and do with their lives. And then we've got a lot of young guys in the program and upperclassmen also that are stepping into that role in senior leadership, that the culture's in such an incredibly good place. We've got great leaders. We've got guys that understand how to work and how to sacrifice and how to play for each other. And I keep saying it over and over and over again. I am so thankful for the opportunity to coach this team and for the gifts that the Lord has given these guys. And it's just been a really special year.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that people don't give enough credit to is the number of coaches and the number of hours that are put in to make sure that this entire train is running smoothly.
Yeah.
And, from Coach Freeman to Coach Deion Mack, Coach Lane Bricker, and your newest addition, Coach Caleb Bice, doing a fantastic job just making sure everything is working smoothly for you guys. So how big of an impact did that play into the success of this year's team?
Oh, it's huge. It's so huge. Just everybody contributing. Everybody contributed to everything. And so everybody's involved in recruiting. Everybody is involved in scouting. Everyone is involved in practice. We even had a volunteer, Jayla Levin, also was a volunteer for us this year and served every single day in practice and was there for the team and to do film or pass or stats or whatever. But all those, Mitch, Coach Freeman, he's just a guy you like to be around. You know, he loves the guys. He's meticulous in his scouting reports. His recruiting system is outstanding. He loves player development, and he loves people. He loves being around the guys. He loves helping, and so always enjoy working with him. Coach Mack is so relational.
Yeah.
Like, the guys love him. He's been where they are just 2 years ago. You know what I mean? And so he's just really good. He always has a pulse on the team. He continued to do scouts the whole year, and he coached our developmental program. He was busy, but he did a really good job for us. And then Lane Bricker just wanted to serve. You know, he did all the dirty work, all the jobs that nobody else wanted to do. He was willing to step in and do them, and asking, you know, how can I help? And then Coach Bice was a godsend for me. She stepped in as director of operations, and you saw while we were in Alpine with the restaurant situation. It's not like being in Dallas or Marshall or anywhere for that matter, where you've got a lot of options. So she was constantly working to get meals catered and different things like that. And not only does she do it well, but she does it in a way that, like, our guys never have to be uncomfortable. Like, they get their meals catered to the hotel, you know, pregame meals delivered. If we go out to a restaurant, the order's already been made. When we get there, they bring the food right to us. She just did an outstanding job, and took a huge load off me, Coach Freeman, and Coach Mack's plate. And so really thankful for the staff we had, for all those guys, and they did an outstanding job.
Absolutely. And as I said, you know, fantastic job that you guys have done here this year, and it's been a great journey. It's been just awesome being around the guys, getting to know the guys, getting to know, you know, their roles on this team, you know, different personalities, I'm sorry, and things of that nature. And one of the things that you kind of did also to kind of expand your horizons a little bit, visiting the town of Marfa, and seeing all the art shows and things, well, not shows, but the art displays rather, in the galleries and things like that. Was a little bit different than, you know, in the past, the last time we were out there in the Alpine, but the guys seem to enjoy it a lot. And how did that kind of contribute to the team?
Well, we had early practice on Wednesday. The tournament started Thursday, and our practice was at noon. And so you need something to do in the afternoon, so you're not just sitting around the hotel all day. So we decided to take the guys to Marfa. And at night, it's known for the Marfa lights, which you see, like, they don't know what they are, like UFOs, something from a military base. People don't know. They don't know what they are. Everybody's got their theory. Well, the town itself is like a mecca for, I guess, modern art. And so there's all these artists that have moved there from New York and Los Angeles, and it looks like they're in these abandoned buildings, but they're all art galleries and studios. And I know that one of the things that a lot of the guys wanted to see was an Andy Warhol of The Last Supper. And unfortunately, when we got there, it was closed, but you could still look through the bottom of the window and see the big picture on the wall. But it was just something, I thought it would be something that would be fun. We spent about an hour there walking around. It got us out of the hotel, and it's just different. It's unique. It's a cultural experience, and you know, half of our guys thought it was really great, and half of our guys were like, I don't get it. But it was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed doing that this whole year. You know, we went to the Civil Rights Museum when we were in Memphis, and got to do Marfa. We went to Bass Pro and did different things like that, and that's what it's about, you know, spending time with these guys, getting to know them, becoming a family. One of the things that was so meaningful to me, you know, Coach Bice came in the middle of the year. I believe she's the first female assistant coach in the state of Texas. And so she came in from our women's program, stepped into a coaching role, and she had said in the locker room that she didn't really know, you know, how it was going to go, how would the guys be, how would they make her feel, things like that. And when she would talk to them or pray for them when she first got here, she would say boys. And I started giving her a hard time about that, and then the guys started giving her a hard time about that. And eventually she said men. And one of the things that she said at the end was, the guys on this team are so special, and they're very close, and they made her feel very welcome, very respected, never a single time uncomfortable. And she said, you truly are men. And that meant a lot to me, and I'm sure to the guys too, because coming in, you know, guys come in here as freshmen, and we want them to grow into godly men. And so to hear a woman come into that role and be able to say, I respect you guys as men, I just thought it was really special.
Absolutely. And they've certainly made their strides. And like you said, posed the question earlier, who's made the biggest stride? And it's just, it's a hard thing to actually pinpoint out. So very well said from you, Coach. And with all that in mind, just kind of talk about, what is the biggest thing that you've kind of taken from this season as a whole, in spite of, not reaching, the goals on the court that you wanted, obviously. But as a whole, what's the biggest thing you take from this season?
Just how close these guys are. They truly became a family. They're truly brothers. They sacrificed for each other. They embraced their roles. We did experience some disappointment. And in our last team meeting yesterday, we just talked about it was disappointing. And it didn't end the way that we wanted it to end. But even in that, there's something to learn. And throughout life, you're going to experience disappointments. But we know that God is good, that He loves us, that He is with us, and that He is for us. And we know that because He sent Christ to die for us and to bring us in a relationship with Him. So I gave them a couple scriptures just that I wanted them to hold on to, because what they're going to do is they're going to go away from here and they're going to look back and they're going to remember all the good times that we had. They're going to remember the relationships that we had, and they're going to be proud of the fact that they made it to the ASC championship. They're not going to remember scores. They're not going to remember games. You just don't remember those things. And I hope that they remember how they grew in their faith while they were here, so that if some of them and when all of them experience disappointment, experience hardship, they can stand on their faith that was hopefully built here, seeds planted here, grown here, whatever, and then they can stand on that. And so that's what we talked about yesterday. And then I just told them how proud I was of them. I don't think I've ever been a part of a team ever in 23 years that came together the way they did in that last week, that executed the way they did that last week, that owned it like they owned it that last week. And it is what you pray for as a coach, is that your guys would own it, that they would be playing their best at the end of the year, that they would be together, that they would be united, that they would sacrifice for each other. And they did that, and I'm just thankful that I was able to be a part of it.
Absolutely, and I was thankful to be along the ride for the journey with you guys. Fantastic program, and we look forward to seeing what you guys can do on the hardwood next year. But thank you very much, Coach. Yes, sir. It's been fantastic. And you guys can keep up to date with all things ETB sports related at goetbtigers.com, or follow us on social media at goetbtigers. Once again, Mark T. Robinson, head men's basketball coach Brandon Curran, and we'll see you again on the ETBU Coaches Show, which is also sponsored by our friends Hometown Tire.